Every world hides its secrets, and some beings belong to more than one. I am born of two worlds where science meets spirituality and reality collides with imagination. Welcome to the space between worlds. The rain fell softly on the old radio tower outside the small mountain town of Greyfield. A lonely signal light blinked through the fog, red and slow, like a tired heartbeat. Deep inside the tower, 10-year-old Illy Carter sat in front of a dusty radio panel. His small fingers turned the dials again and again, hoping to catch a signal that wasn't just static. Illy's father had built this radio long ago. He used to talk to pilots and faraway travelers before he vanished on an exploration mission in space. That was 2 years ago. Everyone said Commander Carter was dead, but Illy didn't believe it. Every night when his mother was asleep, he climbed the tower and called into the sky. "Commander Carter to Earth," Illy whispered into the microphone, pretending his dad could hear. "This is your son, Illy. I'm waiting." Tonight, something was different. The storm outside grew heavy, and the static on the radio began to pulse, soft, then loud, then soft again. Illy leaned closer. He thought it was thunder until the static spoke back. "Who man help us?" Illy froze, his heart hammered. He turned the dial quickly. "Hello, who's there?" he said. "Dad, is that you?" The sound crackled, then a voice came, broken, deep, and strange. "We are not your father. We are the shadows of the Azurin sky. The beast is awake. It will devour us all." Illy's mouth went dry. He didn't understand, but his curiosity was stronger than fear. "Who are you? What beast?" "A dragon, the devourer of worlds. It has tasted fire again. We cannot stop it. Only you can." The voice faded into a high-pitched tone that made Illy's ears ache. Then silence. He stared at the radio, trembling. It had to be a prank or maybe a signal from a damaged satellite. But the voice sounded alive, scared, real, outside. Lightning split the sky in two. For a moment, Illy saw something glowing above the clouds. A streak of blue light that moved like a comet, then crashed deep in the forest valley beyond the hills. He ran to the window. The rain blurred his vision, but he saw a flicker, a burning circle in the trees. His instincts screamed that he should stay inside, but the voice on the radio echoed in his head. "Only you can." He grabbed his jacket, flashlight, and his father's old compass, then slipped out into the storm. The forest was alive with the smell of wet earth and ozone. Thunder rumbled through the hills. Illy's shoes sank into the mud as he followed the glowing trail. He didn't know where he was going, just that something needed help. The light grew stronger. When he reached the clearing, his breath caught. A huge metallic shape lay twisted in the mud, a crashed alien ship. Smoke hissed from its sides. Its surface shimmered like liquid silver, changing color with each flash of lightning. Strange symbols glowed across its hull, almost alive. Illy crept closer. He expected soldiers or monsters or both, but what he found instead made his heart twist. A creature lay half buried under the broken metal. It was enormous, like a dragon, but not of this world. Its scales were dark green with veins of blue fire running between them. Its wings were torn. Its chest rose and fell in shallow, painful breaths. For a long moment, Illy could only stare. The dragon's face looked fierce, deadly, but there was pain in its glowing eyes. It wasn't attacking, it was dying. He wanted to run. Every story said dragons eat humans, but something about its eyes stopped him. They looked lonely. Illy whispered, "You're the beast, aren't you?" The creature's gaze turned toward him. Its voice came not from its mouth, but straight into his mind, deep, tired, almost sad. "I am called Vargon. You should not be here. Child of Earth, my kind has destroyed worlds. Yours will be next." Illy shook his head. "No, you need help. Help," the dragon rasped. "Your help is a breath against a storm." Lightning struck a tree nearby, setting it ablaze. The thunder shook the ground. Without thinking, Illy rushed forward and shielded the dragon's head with his small body, even as sparks flew around him. "Don't die," Illy said, tears mixing with rain. "Please don't." The dragon blinked. No human had ever stood so close, let alone touched one. Ili reached out a trembling hand and placed it gently on the dragon's nose. A shock of light rippled through the air. The dragon's eyes widened, glowing bright gold. A strange hum filled the clearing as their minds connected for a heartbeat. The pain in Vargon's chest faded slightly. He could feel warmth, a tiny human heartbeat, pure and brave. "Why do you help me?" The voice echoed inside Ili's head. "Because you're alone," Ili said simply, "and so am I." For the first time in centuries, the dragon's expression softened. Something ancient stirred inside him, something he had forgotten, mercy. But then from the sky, a beam of red light sliced through the storm, striking the ground near them. The crash of thunder was followed by a deep roar. The clouds tore apart, revealing massive shapes descending other ships, darker, sharper. "They have found me," Vargon said. "Run, human child." Ili grabbed his arm. "No, I won't leave you." Before he could say more, the ground erupted. The light engulfed them both and everything went black, darkness. Ili floated in it, weightless and still. For a moment he thought he was dead. Then sound returned, the slow beat of a heart, not his, a deeper, echoing rhythm that shook the air like thunder under the sea. His eyes opened. He was lying on soft ground that shimmered faintly like starlight trapped in fog. The forest was gone. Above him stretched a glowing dome of blue light, like a bubble keeping out the rain and smoke. The crashed ship lay in ruins nearby, but part of it was alive again, pulsing like a giant heartbeat. And in the center of the clearing, the dragon Vargon was moving. The alien's wings twitched, scattering sparks of light. His long neck lifted slowly and his golden eyes opened fully. He looked stronger, though scars still glowed faintly across his chest. When he saw the boy, he spoke inside Ili's head again, softer this time. "You should not be here, little one." Ili pushed himself up, wincing. "I didn't leave you," he said proudly. "You told me to run, but I don't run from friends." The dragon tilted his head, confused. "Friends? I am no friend of your kind. Humans hunt, burn, and destroy what they do not understand." Ili crossed his arms. "Maybe grown-ups do, but I don't. I just wanted to help." For a long time, Vargon said nothing. Then he lowered his head until his golden eye filled Ili's reflection. The boy looked so small, yet his voice didn't shake. "When you touched me," Vargon said quietly, "I felt something different, a connection I did not expect. You are strange for a human." Ili grinned a little. "My mom says that too." The dragon's deep, rumbling breath almost sounded like laughter, but only for a moment. Then the sky above the dome flared red again. Beams of crimson light cut through the clouds like knives. The sound of engines rolled across the mountains. "They are coming," Vargon whispered. "The hunters, the void reapers, they followed my trail. If they find you, they will erase this world." Ili's heart thudded. "Then we have to hide." Vargon shook his massive head. "You do not understand. They do not stop. They do not forgive. They will burn the forest, the sky, and the sea until all is ash. I am their target, and you," his voice softened, "are my mistake." Ili took a step forward. "You're not a mistake, you just need help." The dragon's eyes glowed brighter. "You cannot help me, child. Your body is small, your mind is young, you cannot fight the reapers." Ili frowned. "Maybe not with guns, but I can think and I can listen, and you're still alive because of me." For the first time in his long life, Vargon didn't know what to say. Humans, he had always been told, were selfish, cruel creatures of flesh and fear. Yet here was one, a child who defied every truth he knew. The dragon turned toward his broken ship. "There is one chance," he said slowly. "My heart core, the shard of power inside me, is damaged. Without it, I cannot fly or fight. But if we reach the old observatory on your mountain, I can repair it. The core's pulse matches the energy in your Earth's crystals." Ili's eyes widened. "The observatory, that's near my town." "Then you must take me there," said Vargon, "before they find us." The storm outside the energy dome raged harder. Thunder crashed like cannon fire. Trees bent and snapped as red searchlights swept across the valley. Vargon lowered one wing. "Climb on," he said. Ili hesitated only a moment, then scrambled up, gripping the smooth scales that hummed under his hands. The warmth of the dragon's body felt alive, electric. "Hold tight, human," Vargan warned. "This will hurt me more than you." He spread his half-torn wings and roared, a sound that split the clouds. The dome shattered in a burst of light, and they shot into the storm like a comet. Lightning clawed at them as they flew low over the trees. The dragon's flight was shaky, wounded but powerful. Below, alien ships, black as shadow, ripped through the sky, chasing them. Red plasma bolts tore past, burning holes through the rain. "Faster," Illy shouted over the wind. "I am trying," Vargan growled. "My left wing is damaged." Another blast exploded near them, throwing them off balance. They crashed through the treetops, splintering branches, then skidded across a riverbank in a shower of sparks. Mud and water splashed everywhere. Illy rolled off, coughing. "Vargan, are you okay?" The dragon's sides heaved, his wings trembled, smoke rose from a burn on his flank. "I can still move," he said weakly. "But not for long," Illy looked around. "We're close. The observatory's just up the ridge." The dragon lowered his head. "Go then, save yourself," but Illy shook his head. "I told you I'm not leaving you." He ran to the dragon's snout again and placed his small hand on it just like before. The glowing veins across Vargan's body pulsed brighter. A strange hum filled the air like their heartbeats were syncing. "You share my energy," the dragon said, surprised. "Impossible." Illy smiled faintly. "Guess I'm strange again." Vargan stared at him for a long moment, then said, "Then let us be strange together." They pushed on, through smoke and rain, toward the glowing outline of the observatory at the mountain's edge. The red lights followed, closer, faster, hungrier. As they disappeared into the storm, the first alien ship landed behind them, its engines screaming. Metal figures stepped out, tall, armored, their eyes burning like red suns. Their leader raised a staff toward the mountain and said in a cold, echoing voice, "Find the dragon, kill the human." The night sky burned red behind them. Alien ships moved like shadows through the storm, their engines roaring with hunger. But Illy and the dragon Vargan didn't stop. They climbed the rocky trail that led to the old Greyfield Observatory, a silent dome standing on the mountain peak like a forgotten guardian. The observatory had been closed for years. Nobody went there anymore, not since Commander Carter, Illy's father, vanished during his space mission. Yet now, as lightning lit the path, the building didn't look dead. Strange blue lights glowed faintly from its windows, pulsing in rhythm with the dragon's wounded heartbeat. Illy pointed. "That's it, the observatory. Dad used to bring me here when I was little." Vargan stumbled behind him, his claws digging deep into the mud. "The air here, it feels ancient," the dragon muttered. "Something powerful sleeps inside." Illy pushed the heavy door open. It creaked like an old beast waking up. Inside, the air smelled of metal and dust, but also of ozone like the edge of a storm. Broken computers flickered with weak light. The huge telescope still pointed at the sky, cracked but steady. And in the center of the room stood a strange glass pod filled with swirling blue mist. The dragon lowered his head to look inside. This is not human technology." Illy stepped closer. The pod hummed softly. On the side he saw a nameplate half buried in dust. He wiped it clean. "Project Horizon, Dr. Isaac Carter." Illy's breath caught. "My dad," he whispered. "He built this." Vargan's golden eyes narrowed. "Isaac Carter, your father's name echoes through our war records. The Reapers knew him." "What?" Illy turned, shocked. "My dad, how?" "He was the first human to cross through a worm gate into the Azarin system," Vargan said. "But the Reapers claimed he stole their energy, a power source called the Celestial Core." Illy shook his head. "No, my dad wasn't a thief. He was a scientist. He wanted peace." The dragon's tail scraped the ground slowly. "Perhaps he did, but the core he took changed everything. It burned worlds, and the Reapers never forgave." Illy stared at the pod. The swirling blue mist seemed to glow brighter when he stepped closer, reacting to him. He touched the glass, and suddenly, it flared with light. A hologram flickered to life above the pod, the face of a tired man with kind eyes. Dad, Illy whispered. The hologram spoke. If you're seeing this, it means I didn't return. Illy, my son, you must listen carefully. What I found out there wasn't just alien energy, it was alive. It connects minds. It understands intent. Illy blinked, his heart racing. The core responds to emotion, compassion, courage, empathy. Humans can bond with it, but the Reapers cannot. They only feel hunger and fear. That's why they destroy everything they touch. The hologram flickered again as thunder shook the mountain. I hid a piece of the core inside this pod. Only someone pure of heart can activate it. If you found this place, Illy, you might be the key to saving both our worlds. The recording ended. The room went silent except for the sound of rain. Illy looked at Vargan, his hands trembling. He said, I'm the key. The dragon stared at him for a long time. A child of earth carrying the core's bond that explains why my wounds eased when you touched me. The core's energy flows through you. Illy swallowed hard. Then we can use it to fix your heart core to stop the Reapers. But before Vargan could answer, the ground trembled. A metal roar echoed from outside, the sound of alien engines landing. The Reapers had arrived. Vargan's wings flared instinctively. They found us. Illy ran to the console. Wait, there's a shield system here. My dad built one. I can power it up. He typed frantically, fingers flying across the dusty keyboard. Sparks burst from old cables. The observatory lights flickered, then a blue dome of energy surged around the building, glowing like the surface of a bubble. Outside, the Reapers fired plasma bolts. They hit the dome and scattered, lighting the forest on fire. The observatory shook but held. Illy shouted, it's working. Vargan looked at him in awe. You are braver than many warriors I've known, little human. Guess that's a compliment, Illy said, grinning despite the chaos. But suddenly a deep humming filled the air. The glass pod cracked and the blue mist inside began to swirl faster and faster like it was waking up. Illy turned toward it. What's happening? It's responding to you, Vargan roared. The core senses your fear. The mist exploded outward, wrapping Illy in light. His eyes widened, glowing the same blue as the core. His feet lifted off the ground. Inside his mind, voices whispered, thousands of them, alien and human alike, all connected through the same pulse. He could feel the dragon's pain, the Reaper's hatred, his father's love, and something else, something vast and ancient. Illy screamed as the light surrounded him. Then silence. When the glow faded, he stood on the observatory floor again, breathing hard. His hands were glowing faintly blue. The energy around him pulsed like a heartbeat. Vargan stepped closer, his eyes full of shock and wonder. You merged with the core. You are no longer just human. Illy looked down at his hands. They were shaking. Then maybe that's what it takes to stop them. The dragon's chest rumbled with deep emotion. Your father's legacy lives within you. Outside, the red lights of the Reapers burned through the storm. They were gathering for one final assault. Vargan spread his wings, the blue glow of Illy's power reflecting in his scales. Then we fight together, the dragon said. Illy nodded. Together. And as lightning cracked over the mountain, the boy and the alien dragon stood side by side, one glowing blue, the other gold, against the army of the void. Continue next part more unique. Light surrounded them, bright, endless, alive. He couldn't tell if he was falling or flying. The world had no ground, no sky, only colors moving like slow waves of energy. He held tight to Vargan's neck as they drifted through the beam. The dragon's golden scales glowed softly, reflecting thousands of shapes that shimmered around them like ghosts of other worlds. Where are we? Illy whispered. Vargan's deep voice echoed inside his mind. Between realities, the core's pathway, the bridge of creation. Illy looked around. He saw fragments of cities floating in the light, broken towers, pieces of moons, old machines drifting like forgotten dreams. Some looked human, others were not. It's like a memory, he said softly. Not a memory, said Vargan, a truth. They drifted toward a vast glowing sphere ahead. It pulsed gently like a heart made of stars. Lightning of blue and gold ran across its surface. Vargan slowed his wings. "The heart of all worlds," he said in awe. "Every living being, every thought, every emotion flows through here. Your father must have reached this place." Ellie's chest tightened. Then maybe he's still here. The light thickened around them, shaping itself into a path of crystal. They landed carefully. When Ellie stepped onto it, the surface rippled beneath his feet, glowing brighter with every step. Then from the mist ahead, a figure appeared, tall, calm, and familiar. Ellie's breath caught. "Dad." Commander Isaac Carter stood before him, wrapped in a faint blue glow. He looked older, tired, but his eyes still had the same warmth Ellie remembered. "Illy," the man said softly. His voice echoed like it came from inside the light. "You found me." Illy ran to him, tears mixing with wonder. "I thought you were dead." "I almost was," his father said. "When my ship entered the worm gate, I reached this place. The core saved me, but I couldn't leave. I became part of it." Vargan bowed his head. "Human, you touched the sacred heart and lived. Few of any race have done so." Isaac smiled faintly. "I didn't just touch it, I understood it. The core connects life through emotion. Fear feeds the reapers. Compassion feeds the heart. That's why they can't control it." Illy looked down at his glowing hands. "The core chose me," his father nodded. "Because you feel without hate, because you reached out to a dying enemy instead of running." Vargan's golden eyes shimmered. "He kissed the nose of a dragon," he said softly. "No warrior in my world would dare such a thing." Isaac chuckled. "That's my son." Then his face grew serious. "Illy, the Reapers are on their way here. Kael'thar will use the heart to erase both our worlds. You and Vargan must stop him, but you can't fight him with rage. Only balance can control the core." Illy frowned. "How do I do that?" "You already know," his father said gently. "Remember what you felt when you touched the dragon. Connection, kindness, that's the key." The light trembled suddenly. A shadow spread across the horizon. The peaceful glow turned crimson. Vargan raised his head. "He has followed us." From the red mist, Kael'thar emerged, his armor cracked from battle, but his eyes blazing like two small suns. "So this is the heart," he hissed. "A prison of light, how poetic." Illy stepped in front of his father. "Stay back." Kael'thar raised his hand, and chains of red energy shot forward, wrapping around the holographic form of Isaac Carter. The image flickered, breaking apart. "Dad," Illy shouted. "Illy," his father cried, fading. "Remember the light, remember who you are." Then he vanished into the core's glow. Illy fell to his knees, heart pounding with grief. The blue light around him darkened. Kael'thar smirked. So much power wasted on a child. Vargan roared, leaping forward. "Enough." The dragon's claws clashed with Kael'thar's crimson blade. Sparks flew through the air, turning into bursts of light that floated like dying stars. The heart pulsed faster, reacting to their fight. Illy rose, his fists glowing again. "Stop." The core's voice whispered in his mind, soft, ancient, countless. "Choice defines creation." Illy closed his eyes. He remembered his father's words. He thought of the night sky, his mother waiting at home, and the lonely dragon who had become his friend. When he opened his eyes, they burned bright white blue. The core's energy flowed through him, calm and strong. He stepped between Vargan and Kael'thar, raising his hands. "Enough," he said again, but this time the word carried power. The entire realm froze. Even Kael'thar's movement stopped mid-strike. The red energy around him cracked like glass. Illy looked at him, not with anger, but with sorrow. "You're scared," he said. "That's why you destroy, but fear can't live here anymore." Core responded. Streams of light flowed from Illy's hands into Kael'thar's chest. The Reaper screamed as his armor shattered, revealing a pale, trembling form beneath, no longer a monster, but something almost human, crying silently. Then the red light vanished. Kael'thar fell, lifeless but peaceful. Vargan stared in silence. "You ended him with mercy." Illy's glow slowly faded. "Dad was right. The core listens to feelings. I didn't have to hate him." The heart pulsed once, bright and deep. The cracks in the realm began to seal. From within the light, Isaac Carter's voice echoed one last time. "You've done what I couldn't, Illy. You've shown the universe what it means to be human." Illy wiped his eyes. "Goodbye, Dad." Vargon lowered his head beside him. He lives on through the heart, through you. The light began to fade. The path of crystal reopened beneath them. It is time to go home, Vargon said softly. Illy nodded. Let's go home. They stepped back into the beam together, leaving behind the glowing realm where the sky itself had learned compassion. The world of light vanished behind them. When Illy opened his eyes, he and Vargon burst out of the sky like a comet made of blue fire. The storm had cleared, and the stars above Greyfield Mountain shone brighter than ever. They landed in the forest near the observatory. Smoke still drifted from the trees where the Reaper's ships had fallen, but the red glow in the sky was gone. The air was calm, almost sacred. Illy slid off the dragon's back and touched the ground. "We're home," he whispered. Vargon folded his great wings, his eyes watching the horizon. "Home," he said quietly, "a word my kind forgot long ago." Illy smiled faintly. "You've got one now." The dragon looked down at him. "And what of your father's world? What will they do when they see me?" Illy's smile faded. He looked toward the town lights far below the mountain. "I don't know, but maybe they'll listen this time." They walked toward the observatory ruins. The building was half broken, half glowing with strange new symbols, the same blue markings from the heart of all worlds. Illy touched one of them and it pulsed beneath his fingers. "It's alive," he murmured. "The core left its echo here," Vargon said. "Its energy now flows through your world." As they entered the observatory, a soft hum filled the air. The old telescope, once silent, moved on its own and turned toward the stars. Its glass lens glowed blue. Illy frowned. "It's projecting something." A beam of light shot upward from the telescope and painted the ceiling with a map of the galaxy, millions of shining dots linked by thin lines. At the center burned a single bright star shaped like a spiral. Vargon's eyes widened. "That is the map of the heart's network. Every world connected by it. Your father must have left this message for all races." Illy stepped closer. Hidden words scrolled across the map. "The core belongs to all life. Protect it together." He whispered, "Dad wanted peace, not war." The dragon bowed his head. "And you made his dream real." Before they could speak further, a sharp tone filled the air. Illy turned to the old radio on the console. It flickered with static, just like the night it all began. He slowly picked up the microphone. "Hello." A woman's voice answered, trembling but familiar. "Illy, is that you? This is Mom." Illy's eyes filled with tears. "Mom, I'm here, I'm okay. Where are you?" The whole sky turned blue. "People are saying it was a comet." Illy looked at Vargon, then back at the microphone. "It's a long story, Mom, but the world's safe now." "Come home, Illy," his mother whispered. "Please." He nodded, voice shaking. "I will, I promise." The radio went silent again. Vargon watched him quietly. "You have your family. I should leave. My presence will frighten them." Illy turned sharply. "No, you're not just a dragon. They need to see you. And if they attack, then I'll stop them." The dragon tilted his head, a small spark of humor in his eyes. "You are a stubborn creature, little human." Illy grinned. "I learned from the best." As dawn rose, they began descending the mountain together. Birds flew over the forest. The air smelled of rain and ash and something new, hope. When they reached the valley, soldiers were already there. Helicopters circled above. Floodlights painted the field in white. Illy stepped out first, his hands raised. "Don't shoot." People gasped when they saw the dragon behind him. Vargon's scales shimmered gold in the sunlight. The soldiers pointed their weapons but didn't fire. Something about the dragon's presence, calm and majestic, made them hesitate. Illy's mother ran through the crowd, crying. She knelt beside him, holding him tight. "Oh my God, Illy, I thought I lost you." He hugged her back. "I'm okay, Mom. I found Dad's truth." She pulled away slightly, wiping her eyes. "And that?" She looked up at Vargon. Illy smiled softly. "He's my friend." Vargon lowered his massive head until his golden eye met hers. "Your son saved more than your world, human. He saved mine." The soldiers stepped back in awe. No one spoke. The only sound was the wind moving through the grass. Then something incredible happened. The clouds above them parted and streaks of blue light fell from the sky, tiny fragments of the core's energy. They drifted down like glowing snow, touching people's faces, the earth, the trees. Everywhere the light touched, life stirred. Burned trees bloomed again. Cracked soil turned green. Even broken machines began to hum with soft energy. People gasped. Some dropped their weapons and knelt. Illy whispered, "It's fixing everything." Vargan looked up at the falling light. "The heart has accepted your world. You are now part of the great connection." The blue glow reflected in Illy's eyes. "Then maybe no one has to be alone anymore." The dragon spread his wings, shining brighter than ever. "Then my purpose here is done." Illy grabbed his claw. "Wait, where will you go? There are other worlds to heal, but wherever there is kindness, I will feel it. You will never truly lose me." The boy's throat tightened. "Goodbye, Vargan." "Not goodbye," the dragon said. "Only until the stars call again." He took off, rising into the sky. The blue light followed him, wrapping around his wings until he looked like a comet made of living flame. People watched as he vanished into the heavens, leaving behind a single streak of blue across the dawn. Illy stood beside his mother, watching with quiet pride. "The world will call it a miracle," she said softly. Years passed. The story of the blue comet spread across Earth like wildfire. Some called it a myth. Others swore they saw it with their own eyes, a glowing dragon flying through the storm beside a human boy. The scientists called it a cosmic energy event. The governments called it classified. But the people, they called it a miracle. And in a small town under the Greyfield Mountains, that miracle had a name, Illy Carter, the boy who touched the heart of a dragon. A new dawn, the world had changed. Cities now glowed with soft blue energy, the gift left behind by the core. Machines no longer polluted. Crops grew stronger. Even the air felt lighter, cleaner. Humanity had entered a new age, not of war, but of understanding. They called it the era of connection, but Illy never forgot. Every night he climbed to the same old radio tower where it had all begun. The red light still blinked slowly in the fog, just like before. Only now, the stars above shimmered with faint trails of blue, the mark of Vargan's flight. Illy sat at the console, his voice calm, older now. "This is Illy Carter," he said softly. "If anyone's out there, thank you for listening." Sometimes he wondered if Vargan could still hear him. Sometimes when the wind was quiet, he thought he could feel a deep hum beneath the clouds like the faint echo of wings. The visitor one cold evening, as snow drifted over the town, Illy heard something strange, a pulse on the radio, not static this time, a rhythm, slow, familiar. He leaned forward. "Hello," a voice answered, soft and echoing. "Human, it has been long." Illy froze, his heart racing. "Vargan, the heart remembers you," the voice said, "but my time is ending." Illy's eyes widened. "No, what do you mean? There are no dragons left in the stars. The reapers are gone, but peace came at a cost. I am the last of my kind. My fire fades." His throat tightened. "You can't just fade away. You promised you'd never really leave." "And I have not," said the dragon gently. "My essence lives in the blue light that surrounds your world. My wings became the wind, my heart your sky." Tears blurred Illy's eyes. "Then why can I still hear you? Because you still believe." Lightning flashed far away over the sea. The clouds parted and a streak of blue appeared, faint but real. Illy ran outside, snow crunching under his boots. He looked up. High above the clouds, a shimmer glided across the stars, not solid, not light, but something between both. A dragon made of pure energy, flying one last time. The final gift, the radio still crackled beside him. "Illy," said the fading voice, "the core grows within your people now, but one day the stars will need you again. When the next shadow rises, remember, kindness is stronger than fear." The blue glow in the sky brightened, then descended slowly, like a falling feather of light. It landed gently in Illy's palm, a small crystal, warm and pulsing like a heartbeat. Illy stared at it, whispering, "What is this?" "My heart," Vargan said. "Keep it safe until the next dawn." The voice faded with the wind. Illy held the crystal close to his chest. It pulsed once, then melted into his skin, leaving behind a faint blue mark shaped like a dragon's wing. For a long moment he just stood there under the falling snow, feeling the hum of the stars in his heartbeat. Then he whispered to the sky, "Goodbye, my friend." A new beginning 50 years later, children played on the fields near Greyfield Mountain, laughing as blue fireflies danced around them. The world was calm now, powered by light, not greed. At the edge of the forest stood a monument, a sculpture of a small boy and a dragon, their hands touching. Below it, carved in shining letters, were the words, "He kissed the nose of a dragon and the universe learned love." One night, a little girl stood before the statue holding a small radio her grandfather had given her. She turned its dial, giggling, but then static cleared, a voice whispered through the speaker. "Is someone there?" The girl blinked. "Hello," a soft rumble answered, deep and ancient but kind. "You have his heart." The girl looked at the sky. A streak of blue light crossed the stars again, brighter than ever. She smiled. "I think he heard you, Mr. Dragon." The radio glowed softly. "Then let us begin again." And as the comet blazed across the heavens, the world below shimmered in its glow, a promise reborn. Milky Way, the END smiled. "Maybe, but I'll call it friendship." If you enjoyed this journey, leave a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe to become part of this story. This is born of two worlds where reality ends and imagination begins.